be safe, they're always checklists. That's basically the main thing that all pilots live by is checklist. So to turn on, there's a checklist. To turn off, there's a checklist. Checklist for everything. On top, you have your radio. This is your radio also. There's basically the regular radio that you use, the regular instruments, and then there's a standby. So there's two radio systems. There's two 6-pack instruments. This is the standby. This is the regular. On here, you have your artificial horizon, which is everything you see right here. You have your airspeed indicator on the left. You have your altimeter on the right. You have a heading indicator right here, which is basically like a compass. It shows the heading of the plane relative to where you're at and on the ground and everything. Over here, you have your RPM. You have your fuel, oil pressure, oil temperature, fuel gallons, volts, also in amps, battery amps. Over here you have your radio system. This is how we talk to air traffic control and everybody else in the sky. Over here you have your standby instruments. Everything that's right here is going to be over here as well. Your circuit breakers down here, your yoke, rudder pedals, throttle, mixture, flaps, park and brake, and then your flaps right here. And then you have your trim tab right here. That's the right here, and then you have your manual trim right in between. And that's pretty much everything in this plane. Obviously you have your other planes like your C-17s, your Boeing 777s, that'll be a little bit more sophisticated, but pretty much every plane has the same 6-pack and they all fly the same for the most part.
So what made you want to fly planes?
Oh, that's a long story. So my brother was in the program I'm in, the Red Sox Flight Academy, and he was in that in his senior year in high school. And once I got of age, my mother put me in the program as well, and I got into my intro flight like I was explaining before. And after I came down, I just immediately fell in love with it. I didn't imagine that it would have this much of an impact on my life, but I'm definitely glad at where it turned out, the direction that I'm heading in. I don't think I would change anything that happened. I've been flying since my intro flight, so I guess that's around 4 years ago. In 11th grade, I actually got another opportunity from the Red Sox Flight Academy to do my solo flight. So I really started to fly more often around last year in 11th grade. I did my solo flight. I soloed around August 5th. Actually, on August 5th, I did my solo flight, and then I came around this year, and I'm doing another program with them to finish and get my private pilot's license in around 2 weeks. So I started flying around 4 years ago, but I started really getting into it around 11th grade, around 2 years ago.
And what do you aspire to be? What are your goals and aspirations?
My overall, the main big goal is to be a commercial pilot, but obviously there are steps in between. So right now I'm training for my private pilot's license, and after that it's the instrument, multi-engine. After this, I'll be going off to Hampton University and getting some of my licenses over there, as well as my education. So,
of course.
Yes, education first.
Education first. Tell me about your direction in going there. What brought you to want to represent and go to a historically black college?
So, growing up, I was always in honors courses since I was in the first grade. And it's sad to say, but I was always one of the only people of color in those classes. So as I was choosing my college route and what I wanted to do in my future, I knew that I wanted to be surrounded by more people that look like me. So that's the main reason why I wanted to choose a HBCU. And as I was in this program, I knew I wanted to be in the aviation field as well. So it was really, the stipulations were it has to be HBCU and it has to have aviation. So as I was going through it, I looked at Hampton, Delaware State, and Maryland Eastern Shore as the main HBCUs I wanted to go to in this area. And I went to all three. All three were great campuses. I recommend all of them, but I recommend Hampton the most. Like, once I stepped foot on that campus, I loved it. Like, it felt like I needed to be there. It felt like it was my home, and I wouldn't change a thing. So that's why I chose Hampton. So these logos that are on my shirt and also on my chest with the Red Sox Flight Academy, this red part on the back of the empennage of the plane it basically represents the Tuskegee Airmen, who were the first black pilots ever in America to basically fly in the military. They went through their trials and tribulations back in World War II. They did a lot of air missions, mainly escorting bombers as well as other planes to where they had to go and coming back safe every single time. They started out with a whole lot being on their shoulders, basically saying like, oh, we can't fly because of the certain stipulations that black people or people of color had at that time. They surpassed all of them and exceeded everybody's expectations of what they had. So basically hearing about that from this program, doing my own research, basically showed me like I too can also be in this industry. And this program is filled with people of all different backgrounds, all different types of colors, and that was that representation that I needed as well, to basically show me like, hey, I can do this also. I can be in this industry, and here we are now. So that's just a little bit about this logo, some of the things that the Tuskegee Airmen as well as the Red Tail program, some of the things that they try to do. That's their mission. That's their vision and what they want to do.
Obviously, you're in this wonderful program, and you're headed to do great things. But tell us a little more about yourself and your values and what you plan to do to sort of inspire others.
So that's a good question. With this program, like I was stating before, once I was in the program, a lot of the mentors, they really looked like me, and a lot of my instructors and everything, it was them giving off their time. They were all volunteering to give back to the program, and I want to do the same thing as well. So seeing other people that look like me in this field really inspired me and pushed me to, it just clicked something in my mind to really say like, hey, I can do this as well. And I want to be that same person that my instructors were for me. I want to be that for the next Quinston, the next whoever else that wants to be a pilot as well. So once I'm establishing myself and where I want to be, I want to come back to Newburgh, come back to Stewart, come back to the Red Tail program, give back to whoever else, the next person, to come about and show them that they can do this as well. Like, it's not just, oh, it's a pilot in the air, oh, it's a pilot right here, okay, that's cool. Like, no, you can do this as well. This isn't just something that for the next rich person to do. Like, this is accessible to everybody of all ages. It doesn't matter if you're starting at 14, it doesn't matter if you're 17, it doesn't matter if you're 30 or however old. You could start in this field whenever you want to. Like, I know a couple people who they're a little later in their careers, they're already established in whatever they're doing. They came back and they seen this program, what it has to offer, and they were like, oh, I feel like I can do this too. And they're training to get their license because they see the benefits that aviation has to offer. So overall, I do want to say I want to be that next light to the next person coming up, so they can be in this industry as well.
I think that's a beautiful thing, Quinston. And it's like, I have my drone license, but now I might be inspired to go take some classes and fly a Cessna like you, man.
Yeah.
So I want to say that, your story is amazing.
Thank you.
And you got to keep shining your light. And I'm so glad to have met you and to try to tell your story, man.
Oh, well, Dustin.
Thank you so much for your time.
Anytime.
All right.